Hello and welcome to Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. I am Lydia Odije Oche. We thank you for joining us. Here are the details. President Muhammadu Buhari has presided over the 8th meeting of the Federal Executive Council for the year 2021 at the Presidential Villa. The meeting is the 37th, held virtually in compliance with COVID-19 safety advisory. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, Chief of Staff to the President, Ibrahim Gambari, the National Security Advisor, Babagana Monguno, and 6 ministers are physically in the Executive Council chambers. The Head of Service of the Federation, Dr. Folashade Yemieson, and other members of the Council are participating online from their various offices in Abuja. Various memoranda from ministries, departments, and agencies were considered in furtherance of efforts at sustaining the upward trajectory in taking Nigeria's drive for a prosperous future. Meanwhile, stakeholders in the oil and gas sector are considering crashing the prices of petroleum products, leveraging on artisanal refining system. Senior Special Assistant to the President on Niger Delta Affairs, Senator Ita Enang, gave the indication in a press conference preparatory to the Stakeholders Summit. Ikechukwu Ndukwe reports.
The conference is to harmonize and improve technologies already used by artisanal refiners with the intention to insert its recommendations into the ongoing petroleum industry bill being considered in the National Assembly to give it a legal backing.
Sending it abroad, the cost of the vessel, the cost of the demurrage arising. When it is finished, you pay tax in those countries, you pay tax in this country, you pay the port charges of those countries where it is refined and coming from, and then you pay the labor of those countries. And then when it comes into Nigeria, you pay the port charges, you pay the customs, you pay all other charges, and that is what makes up the cost of high refined petroleum products.
The Office of the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Niger Delta Affairs is partnering with the Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Science and Technology, Department of Petroleum Resources, Domestic Refiners Association, University of Petroleum Delta State, and the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, among other stakeholders, in fine-tuning the process which he said will crash petroleum products to 100 naira per liter. Ikechukwu Ndukwe, NTA News.
The Nigeria Center for Disease Control, NCDC, has announced 346 new cases of COVID-19 in Nigeria. The latest figures released bring the total number of confirmed cases to 159,252 infections in the country. A breakdown of the new cases indicates that Lagos recorded the highest number for the day, with 86 new cases, followed by Bauchi with 64 new cases. Others are Kaduna with 26, Kwara 26, FCT 24, Rivers 23, Plateau 22, Ogun 16, Ebonyi 14, Bayelsa 12, Cross River 10, and Edo has 8 new cases. Others are Akwa Ibom with 5 cases, Ekiti 2, Gombe, Kano and Osun have 2 cases each, while Delta has 1 new case. With the latest development, 139,056 cases have been successfully treated and discharged, while 1,988 patients have died, unfortunately. Global recognition and support for the AstraZeneca Oxford vaccine for COVID-19 has continued to gain key players' attention in a bid to completely flatten the curve of the pandemic and entrench a new world that is safe with enhanced health immunity. Abubakar Usman Akwanga reports that the latest endorsement of the efficacious state of the vaccine resonated from critical stakeholders during NTA's Current Affairs program, Tuesday Live.
Since the outbreak of coronavirus pandemic in 2019 and the declaration of the virus as a global health emergency, stakeholders have stepped up efforts to contain spread of the pandemic. And with the development of AstraZeneca Oxford vaccine through clinical evaluation and scientific approval to be safe and effective, stakeholders remain firm in the integrity of the vaccine, but raise concern on compliance with non-pharmaceutical measures.
So many people who are schooled, who are educated, are telling they want to kill us with vaccine. I just laugh. They want to kill you and they have not killed you since. Is there any drug we are producing in this country? They want to kill us, they would have killed us since.
The AstraZeneca vaccine is cheaper than all the other vaccines. It's not that it is an inferior product. AstraZeneca decided and they announced that they will not make profit during the pandemic.
Nigeria's commitment to ensure more than half of its population is vaccinated before 2022 and priority to the aged and vulnerable persons is described as a great move to defeat COVID-19.
The first 4 million doses of the AstraZeneca vaccine that were brought in last week are part of a consignment of 16 million doses that we're getting from the COVAX facility.
Other regulatory agencies have been exchanging information about side effects, adverse drug reactions from the vaccines. And there is nothing scary. It is part of drug product development.
The need for micronutrients to supplement and improve the function of the immune system cannot be overemphasized.
As states take delivery of AstraZeneca Oxford vaccine, stakeholders hope that the administration of the vaccine will reflect nationwide coverage and return the country on the path of economic recovery and sustainable growth. In Abuja, Abubakar Usman Akwanga, NTA News.
We now join Hingino in our Lagos studio with more reports on COVID-19 vaccine. Hello, Hingino.
Thank you, Lydia. Lagos still remains the epicenter of the coronavirus pandemic in Nigeria. Vaccination is expected to begin as soon as the state receives the AstraZeneca vaccine from the federal government. Our correspondent examines the state's level of preparedness. It is a known fact that coronavirus pandemic has negatively affected all sectors of the globe and even caused economic meltdown. Nations, including the most developed, are still feeling the intense heat caused by the ravaging virus, turning the world to a war zone where all nations are unanimously fighting the disease. The battle is definitely favoring humanity with the discovery of a vaccine.
So many vaccines are being developed for COVID-19, and they are in various stages of development. We have about 180 that are in the preclinical stage.
Nigeria has now joined the list of countries that have received their share of vaccines, and inoculation has already begun.
There are stakeholders around logistics of collection of vaccine, storage, distribution, and how we even administer all of that to set up a steering committee.
First-line health workers, the elderly, the vulnerable persons with comorbidities will be prioritized to receive the vaccine.
Lagos residents are optimistic that cold chain and preservation of the vaccine in the state will not be compromised to maintain its efficacy.
It's a very good development. My prayer is that it should produce the desired results. it's going to be very essential that, people get it.
With vaccination going on around the world, it is hoped that a cure for the infection will be found soon to ensure a world free of the pandemic. Now away from COVID-19. After a successful trial of barge cargo delivery from Onne in Port Harcourt to the Onitsha River Port in Delta State, the National Inland Waterways Authority is finalizing plans to commence cargo delivery from Lagos to other states through the inland waters. 8 barge operators have so far been licensed to commence operations. Dotun Oguyemi completes the report.
Bringing the chaos that is traffic congestion in and around the Apapa Port Complex to order has remained a tough nut to crack. However, concerted efforts between agencies of government and other stakeholders is set to yield positive results, with the licensing of barge operators to deliver about 1,000 containers per trip from Lagos to Onitsha.
Can be sure, I'm certain about it, that moving your container from Lagos to Onitsha by water will be cheaper than moving it from Lagos to Onitsha by road. For now, what we are concentrating as an authority is to ensure that we maintain our channels, to make them all year round navigable, to carry flat bottom barges. Very soon now, in this 2021 procurement, we have a provision to re-survey the route. We're still going to do survey to make sure that our records are up to date.
This is to enable effective utilization of the over 3,000 kilometers of navigable waterways that can be accessed by 28 of the 36 states of the Federation. The agency also says it will tackle issues of security and enforcement of safety regulations to avoid economic losses.
We now take a break. The news continues shortly.
The Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment Industrial Development Department announces one-day stakeholders meeting on the development of draft national policy and startups. Venue, Lagos Travel-In Annex, Banquet Hall, number 39, Toyin Street, Ikeja, Lagos, on 11 March 2021. Time, 10 a.m. Participants are to join via Zoom. Meeting ID 3045-322701. Password 7BCSTI. Physical attendance at the event is strictly by invitation. This is in accordance with COVID-19 protocols. Announcer, the Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment.
From dusk to dawn, 24 hours a day, NTA International is with you. In your living room, office, and everywhere, anywhere. We provide a company you desire in terms of balanced and up-to-date news, programs, and the best of entertainment. Tune in to DSTV channel 251, GoTV channel 91, Freeview channel 264, or live streaming via www.visiontv.co.uk. Application for iOS or Android. You can also see us on Facebook and YouTube for quality content on the go. NTA International, Africa's window to the world.
Life is a game. We are cool. We are trendy. Energy moves us. Sports is our game, our oxygen. Because with the round leather we ball, we hustle. All over the land, north and south, we are united in the pursuit of glory. We are encapsulated by HIFL. We live for the game. It's game time. Showing on NTA Network every Saturday at 4:30 p.m.
Chelsea look to continue their amazing run of 12 games unbeaten when they travel to Ellen Road. Will they succeed or will the streak come to an end? Find out as Leeds United welcome Chelsea this Saturday on the Premier League Live, showing on the network service of the NTA from 1 p.m. The Premier League Live is brought to you by Axis Bank, Babai Jebu, Lipton, and Close Up in association with Go.com.
Thanks for staying with us. The Senate has resolved to carry out amendments of the Nigerian Constitution to expunge any aspect that infringes on the rights of women. This followed a motion by Senator Betty Apiafi in commemoration of the 2021 International Day of Women, which also harped on the need to dismantle cultural impediments to women emancipation. The motion called on employers of labor in Nigeria to ensure gender parity in the workplace, while urging the 9th National Assembly to domesticate all treaties on gender parity by the African Union. The legislators observed that the mainstreaming of the role of women in national affairs is key to national development. Meanwhile, Senate has called on the National Emergency Management Agency, the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, and all concerned authorities to assess the extent of damage in the recent herder farmers conflict in Ogun State and put measures in place for the provision of relief materials and repatriation of those who sought refuge in neighboring countries. This is sequel to a motion by Senator Tolu Odebi, while the motion by Senator Bala Ibn Na'ala called for the establishment of IDP camps in areas in Kebbi State witnessing influx of internally displaced persons from neighboring states. Meanwhile, the House of Representatives has urged authorities to beef up security in parts of Sokoto State following last Thursday's bandits' attack that left scores of people dead. The issue brought to the notice of the House under matters of urgent public importance by Representative Mohammed Bargaja saw House members expressing worry as bandits are carting away farm produce cultivated during the dry season farming. The lawmakers appealed to the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development to come to the aid of those affected across the 30 villages in Sabon Birni and Isa Federal Constituency. For the first time in a long while, the premises of the National Assembly has been besieged by the Nigerian Labour Congress and Trade Union Congress in a peaceful protest. This time, the workers' unions are objecting to the proposed shift of the minimum wage to the concurrent list. National Assembly correspondent Abdullahi Aminu has more.
This convergence of the organized labor unions breaks existing understanding that peaceful protests and marches should not go beyond the main entrance of the legislature. The unions protesting resolved around the minimum wage. The unions threatened to go on a nationwide strike if the National Assembly fails to address the issue.
But if the right thing is not done, then leadership have the right to declare a national strike.
Representatives of the Senate President and Speaker House of Representatives responded to the issues presented, including the issue of local government autonomy.
We want autonomy for the local government, autonomy for the State Assembly, autonomy for the judiciary. This is the way to go because it's different arms of government.
By this implication, you have no cause whatsoever to shy away from the interests and the yearning of Nigerian labor.
We will stand by you to ensure that the fundamental rights of every worker is not only enforced, but is ensured and guaranteed.
The Nigerian Labour Congress and Trade Union Congress say the protest continued until the National Assembly provides the required legislation for the standardization of the minimum wage in Nigeria in line with the international labor laws. From the National Assembly, Abdullahi Aminu, NTA News.
Thanks, Abdullahi. Nigeria's digital switchover from analog to digital broadcasting is a project that will be pursued to its logical conclusion. This is the position of key players in the process. Anthony Forsen reports.
When the Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed inaugurated the ministerial task force to work and deliver a successful digital switchover in broadcasting, he made it clear that the task force cannot afford to fail. A reason probably why he chairs the task force. Having successfully rolled out in 6 states with 2 signal distributors, integrated television services, and Pinnacle, there is a renewed attempt to discredit the process. In the light of this, we took the matter to the doorsteps of the National Broadcasting Commission.
Nigeria is not among the countries that have not kick-started. There are several countries that have not even started at all in Africa. So we've taken some strides. We're in 6 states as we speak. We have done what is critical to the process in terms of delivery of platform. We have 2 signal distributors operating side by side in these 6 locations. We have set up companies that engage in producing set-top boxes, or if you want, decoders, which are very critical to the transition.
Again, we'll try to pull some assurance.
There's going to be availability of channels, a leap in terms of availability of channels in the digital era.
However, one key component to make the process a success is the set-top box. Godfrey Onwamua is one of the licensed set-top box manufacturers. He says there is no cause for alarm, just as Integrated Television Services, one of the 2 signal distributors, also confirm they are ready with their technological know-how to roll.
Today there are 13 set-top box manufacturers in Nigeria. Only a few of them, have set up their factory. More is waiting. With the launch, with the movement of the DSO, more of them will set up their factory. Imagine when the whole 13 is fully in blast, where each is employing, say, 1,000.
We in NTA were committed to this project, and the minister has given us much order, and that one we must do. We won't have alternative.
It is expected that in the coming days, the timetable for the commencement of the rollout will be announced. In Abuja, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
Now we're back to reports on the COVID-19 vaccines. States across Nigeria have continued to receive the Oxford AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccines for immediate vaccination of Nigerians. Abdulmalik Hassan completes this report on some states that have taken delivery so far.
Distribution of the Oxford AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccines across states of the Federation followed their certification by regulatory bodies after clinical trials. The Benue State government received 50,000 doses of the vaccines. Kano received 209,520 doses, Jigawa 68,500 doses, Ekiti 50,000 doses, Osun 64,240 doses, and Ondo State 50,000 doses. In the meantime, governors of Osun, Jigawa, Ekiti, and Ondo states have been vaccinated at their respective places. The vaccines are to be administered to members of the public in line with the federal government's target to ensure more than half of Nigeria's population are vaccinated before end of 2022. Reports reaching us indicate that Lagos and Kwara are the latest states to have received their consignments, details of which will be brought to you in our subsequent bulletin. In Abuja, Abdulmalik Hassan, NTA News.
Talking more on the vaccine, we have joining us live via telephone the Osun State Governor, Boyega Oyetola. Thank you so much for joining us, Your Excellency.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Yes, we are aware you've taken your own jab. What was the experience like?
It's normal. There are nothing to it. I've taken it and I've been doing my normal duty without any feeling of anything. I was perfect without taking it. So,
okay.
I don't feel anything. It's quite okay.
It's okay. Now, how prepared are the Osun people towards receiving the vaccine?
Yeah, for instance, by the time I took mine, on my wife, on my cabinet, it sent the right signal to everybody that it's safe. We can afford to expose them to any danger. So we're taking it first. We assure them that this is safe and this is the way to go. So they are willing, they are ready, and we've mapped out the strategy to distribute to most parts of the state, given the quantity of doses that we have.
It's okay.
So they are quite and they are excited about it.
Okay, that's good to know. Now, who are the first beneficiaries to receive the vaccine in your state?
The frontline health workers. You know,
okay.
they had theirs at about 9 a.m.
Okay.
Before they came to me at about 10.
Okay. Now, what other message do you have for the Osun people concerning the COVID-19 vaccine?
Well, other measures, usually the quantity we have now would ordinarily go around. So we are assuring that they're respecting more, but we're trying to ensure that those people that are particularly vulnerable are taken care of in the front instance. The health workers, the principal officers of the state, the judiciary, the legislature, and there are key people that are exposed to that level of vulnerability. So we expect that we'll get more quantity of the vaccine, but we are making the real use of the one we have for now.
Thank you so much for joining us on Nationwide, Your Excellency.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We've been talking with the Executive Governor of Osun State, Governor Boyega Oyetola. Let's move on now. Nigerians will no longer be stranded abroad due to loss or damage of passport. This follows the launch of a temporary passport for Nigerians who desire to return home from foreign countries. Victor Azu reports that the passport is valid for only a single trip within 30 days.
The other one is
it has all the features of the regular passport, but it's not. This is the new temporary passport produced by the Nigeria Immigration Service with the aim of ensuring that Nigerians abroad, including newborns, can return home whenever they want to, regardless of the status of their regular passports. It is a replacement for the hitherto emergency travel certificate, valid for only 30 days and automatically invalidates the passport reported missing.
This document has only 4 pages. Yeah, it has the passport photograph inside, but it is subject to office check. If it is issued by Canadian High Commission in Ottawa, it is starting to be valid from the day it is issued, but it will expire after 30 days of issue. So, but if it is issued and the person has traveled with it, even within 2 days, but remaining to 80 days, it still becomes invalid.
We will, by this feat, now have an organized, serialized, and verifiable system of issuing temporary travel documents. Furthermore, it will resolve and eliminate the issue of differences in costs of ETCs across our missions.
But that's not all. For the Minister of Interior, the new document holds significant prospect for national security and the ongoing enrollment for national identity number.
This is a further consolidation of the digitization efforts of the operations of the Nigerian Immigration Service to further strengthen its collaboration with other security agencies for effective and efficient border security for our nation.
Apart from bearing security features, the new passport is compliant with the demands of the International Civil Aviation Organization. In Abuja, Victor Azu, NTA News.
Jos is next, and Felicia will be guiding us.
Thank you, Lydia. Welcome to Jos. Exploring areas of comparative advantage in agriculture in Plateau State dominates discourse between Governor Lalong and Nigeria's ambassador to Russia, Professor Abdullahi Ibekwal. Ndayan Andayabagyang reports.
While expressing government's willingness to explore bilateral relationship in agriculture and mining to the advantage of the state, Governor Lalong expresses confidence in the ability of Ambassador Abdullahi Shehu Ibekwal to deliver. He thanked President Muhammadu Buhari for finding the professor worthy of the appointment.
I have no doubt in your capacity. We expect that when you go there, Nigeria will be a different thing. The image of this country will be different.
The ambassador assured of his commitment to further strengthen Nigeria's bilateral ties with Russia, promising to live up to expectation in the discharge of his responsibilities.
Indeed, I can say we see great opportunity to promote our foreign policy. Although Africa remains the centerpiece of Nigeria's foreign policy, there are issues of global importance which we we look at the Eastern Bloc, particularly on Russia, to deal with at the United Nations, including Nigeria's membership of the Security Council, including issues of climate change, including issues of counter-terrorism. These are critical issues that are important to Nigeria.
The delegation of prominent sons and daughters of Kanam appreciated the governor for his role in the appointment of Ambassador Abdullahi Shehu Ibekwa. In Jos, Indenyan, and the Abagang, NTA News.
As part of awareness on glaucoma, the headquarters of the 3 Division of the Nigerian Army, JOS, has rendered free eye services to its host community. Caleb Guchin has the reports.
The eye has been described as the window to the world, hence everything possible should be done to protect it from harm. This was emphasized when Dr. Perpetua Odugbo from JUTH gave a talk on what glaucoma is and the need for every adult to present the eyes for regular medical checkup. She noted that glaucoma, once advanced, cannot be reversed. Hence, people should avail themselves as early as the disease is preventable.
As we screen, if we tell you you need further checkup, we are not saying that you have glaucoma. What we are doing here is screening. Okay, we pick out those who may be having glaucoma. There are more tests that we will have to do before we confirm the diagnosis.
Acting Commander 3 Division Medical Services and Hospital, Major Emmanuel Kau, commended JUTH for the partnership and stressed that the Army is committed to its responsibility of touching lives positively. For young Devian, the exercise is an opportunity to get her eyes healed.
I know it's to see small writing.
They tell me that I'm just okay, so I'm happy for that.
This year's theme of World Glaucoma Day is World is Bright, Save Your Eyes. In Jos, Caleb Gochin, NTA News.
Time now for another break. Nationwide continues shortly in Kaduna with Amina.
A new edition of TV Guide is out with special focus on the game changer, His Excellency Governor Abdullahi Sule of Nasarawa State. Broadcasting in a digital economy, Maxwell Logo gives an insight. This edition also features Nancy Naji of AIT, a name synonymous with business. Meet the NCDC boss, Dr. Chikwe Ihekweazu. TV Guide, your indispensable companion, also x-rays the relevance of social media in the modern society. Meet some TV professionals who have impacted their spaces and other inspiring stories in sports, entertainment, and lots more. Grab a copy at the vendor near you or NTA stations nationwide. TV Guide, your indispensable companion.
Life is a game. We are cool. We are trendy. Energy moves us. Sports is our game, our oxygen. Because with the round leather, we ball. We hustle. All over the land, north and south, we are united in the positive glory. We are encapsulated by HIFL. We live for the game. It's game time. Showing on NTA Network every Saturday at 4:30 p.m.
Chelsea look to continue their amazing run of 12 games unbeaten when they travel to Ellen Road. Will they succeed or will the streak come to an end? Find out as Leeds United welcome Chelsea this Saturday on the Premier League Live, showing on the network service of the NTA from 1 p.m. The Premier League Live is brought to you by Axis Bank, Babai Jebu, Lipton, and Close Up in association with Gold.com.
Concerned by the increasing cases of eye cataract diseases that could lead to loss of vision, Jigawa State government has flagged off free cataract surgery, expected to benefit 3,000 identified patients. Hawa Haliru reports that the exercise is in collaboration with the Islamic Medical Association of Nigeria.
Cataract is the clouding of the normal clear lens of the eyes. It develops slowly, affecting the eyesight, eventually interfering with the vision. Some of the causes of cataract are aging, trauma or radiation, with the implications of depression and blindness, which the solution could be eyeglasses or cataract surgery.
Many a times it will start with visual or blurring of vision, and it may progress to complete blindness, and this is a treatable condition, and also we look at it as more of public health disease, which you can help and treat it and clear it out of affected individuals.
The alarming increase in number of cataract cases in Jigawa State prompted the Islamic Medical Association of Nigeria to collaborate with the state government in creating awareness and treating the affected persons. The target is 3,000 patients across the state. Some of the beneficiaries expressed their feelings after the operation that they are now seeing clearly.
I can now see clearly. I am appreciative to the state government. I am appreciative to the President Muhammad Buhari.
100 cataract patients have been identified in each state constituency to benefit from the surgery. From Dutse, Hawa Hallara Haruna, NTA News.
About 67 wounded in action soldiers in Operation Lafia Doli, now physically challenged, have undergone training in computer repairs and closed-circuit TV operation. Adamu Sunday reports that the training aims at equipping the soldiers with skills which will enable them remain relevant to their families and the Nigerian army.
There is ability in disability. That is the spirit which resonates here as the Nigerian army trains these 67 war veterans who got injured in the line of duty and can no longer be at the front line of operations.
But you agree with me that there are certain injuries sustained in combat that no matter what you do, you have to say address the minds of these war veterans.
Warrant Officer Sakanuruddin is the head of the trainees.
You cannot enter inside sailing because of our challenges, But if you have people that work with us, they tell them what to do inside the ceiling, how we put it, how they connect it, we show it up, and we are going to monitor it too.
I know that this course is going to transform not only my life, it will also give me the privilege to train people outside this facility.
It's not the way they came that they are living today. They've acquired something. Knowledge that will remain with them forever.
These veterans who sacrificed their all for the unity of Nigeria are expected to internalize the life-transforming entrepreneurial skills and remain relevant in spite of their physical challenge. In Kaduna, Adamu Sunday, NTA News.
And that's it from here. It's back to Lydia in Abuja.
Many thanks. Troops of Operation Lafia Doli have upscaled the clearance of villages and enclaves inhabited by the Boko Haram terrorists and their Islamic State West Africa Province counterparts ISWAP in the northeast. A statement by the Director, Army Public Relations, Brigadier General Mohammed Yerima says the latest is the elimination of 25 terrorists and destruction of several criminal camps in Chikun, Gudu, Kerenoa areas of Borno State. Brigadier General Yerima notes that 20 AK-47 rifles, 2 general-purpose machine guns, 3 anti-craft guns, 2 automatic grenade launchers, and 2 gun trucks and 1 CJTF Hilux were among arms recovered from the criminals. In a renewed effort to flush out criminal elements operating in the state, Abia State government has demolished 2 bungalows used as kidnappers' hideouts in 2 local government areas of the state. Kingsley Ononiwu reports that the demolition exercise was led by the security advisor to the state governor.
Located in Eziala, Unsulu, in Isalangwa North local government area and Omalozu Avenue off Urata Road, Aba, Addressing journalists at the demolition sites in company of the State Commissioner of Police, Janet Abede, Security Advisor to the State Governor, Awa Udenzi, said the houses were used as dens for kidnappers, and accordingly, the law mandates the state government to demolish any building identified as a hideout for kidnappers.
So I use this opportunity to tell Abians that the present government, under the watch of His Excellency Victor Ikpazu, PhD, has zero tolerance for crime. And he has ensured that there is good level synergy among the security forces towards protecting Abians, visitors to Abia, and those that have come to do their investments in Abia State.
At the second location in Aba, where the kidnapped suspects lived with other tenants, the security advisor stated that 3 suspects were arrested where arms and ammunition were recovered from their apartment. He also explained that punishment for kidnapping in Abia State still remains death sentence, whereas any building used as hideout for kidnapping business must be completely pulled down in line with the law. In Umuahia, Kingsley Onaniwu, NTA News.
It is time to break the chain of silence in reporting cases of gender-based violence. This is the stance of government, actors, and community influencers at a capacity-building workshop on gender-based violence in Abuja. Salwa Khalil Ibrahim reports.
Right? It affects persons of a particular gender disproportionately.
Daiba is a specialist in gender-based issues and advocate against gender-based violence, GBV, through Connected Health Initiative. Considering the number of unreported cases of gender-based violence in the country, Daiba now works through her NGO to improve psychosocial response to GBV in government and private institutions.
We need to normalize these conversations. We need to make people know that it is not okay to treat someone in a certain way because it has long-lasting impacts.
Participants at these training workshops say ending the culture of silence amongst victims is of utmost importance to help facilitate action among concerned authorities.
It's important to deal with harmful traditional practices that seem to reinforce gender-based violence in communities.
Daiba and her team are optimistic that these training workshops will harmonize legal, medical, and psychosocial assistance for survivors of GBV. In Abuja, Salwa Khalil Ibrahim, NTA News.
And in line with the federal government's commitment to empower Nigerian youths and women in some chosen vocations, the Ministry of Niger Delta Affairs has concluded a training and empowerment program for youths and women from the Niger Delta. Larry Belei was at the graduating ceremony of participants in Ibadan, the Oyo State capital.
My interview with Solomon from Akwa Ibom and Sophia from Delta State reveals that the training they had undergone has not only quenched their thirst to better themselves, but given them the boost to achieve their goals.
This, as a whole, give us a platform to come out and flourish as people with our small stuff. At least it will help us start up something.
Youth these days, they tend to go into businesses, owning their own private enterprise. So it's actually going to help us.
The participants attest to the fact that it is not a jamboree, but a detailed 2-week training in oil and gas, mobile phones repair, and assemblage, as well as other vocations.
One aspect of his government is to create jobs for the youths of this great country, and he has done that through several skill acquisition programs, and this is one of them.
Can I assure you that these graduates will be not only responsible, but they will be intuitive.
42 of them are graduating, and they are going into the society to test their knowledge. From Ibadan, Larry Belei, NTA News.
In the wake of abduction of students in schools in parts of the country, Catholic Bishop of Ikorekpene Diocese says there is need for tighter security network around schools and provision of adequate learning materials for students to enhance their educational pursuit. The bishop was speaking while donating 5,600 books to 56 secondary schools in Akwa Ibom State. Calvin Samuel reports.
It is dated back to the invention of writing during the 4th millennium BC. Till date, reading has continued to be a very important part of human development, with the capacity of transforming the reader into a better version of his or herself. However, despite the importance of reading, the culture has continued to decline, especially among the youth, who are often distracted by various activities on the social media. To bridge this gap and restore the habit of reading that will help develop the youth and reposition them for a better tomorrow, Catholic Diocese of Ikwadekpene, Akwa Ibom State, organized a book carnival, which participants say is of immense benefit to them.
I learned the benefits of reading. I learned the roles of having a library.
It's good to read books. It will help you to make it in life.
According to the organizers, it is their own way of giving back to the society as they encourage government, organizations, and individuals to invest in educating the youth, as this will not only empower them but also reduce the rate of crimes in the society.
I am still where I am today, not because I read new books, but I read important books. You can go to anywhere, you can stand up anywhere and speak confidently. You can also achieve what you want to achieve.
A total of 100 books were given to each of the participating schools, while each participant went home with one book each. From Ikwadekpene local government area of Akwa Ibom State, Calvin Samuel, NTA News.
With the outbreak of the COVID-19, which threw the medical world into search for orthodox and alternative cure, alternative therapists say proper regulation of the practice by government will eliminate quacks amongst its ranks. This came to the fore at the 5th Convention and Convocation of the International Institute of Islamic Therapy held in Abuja. Ilyas Onotu Yakubu reports.
The afflicted.
It is a call to the place of healing, ethics, and honor. Each of these 32 graduates spent the last couple of months under the tutelage of the Institute researching alternative Islamic medical therapy with target to complement orthodox medical needs of humanity. Hawa Baba Barao is one of such interns, and today their individual projects are tested and certified products by relevant regulating agencies ready for consumption.
It deals not just about the physical body. It helps treat the physical, the spiritual, psychological, emotional issues that we are all facing.
Through our contacts, we meet different patients, different people. We carry on sensitization programs for people to actually understand and key into it. And the government has a very serious role to play.
A reputable international TB institute with areas of interest such as clinical hijama, Al-Shab Nabawi, and Tafsirul Ahlam, amongst others, enjoying rigorous training and research pursuits, the IIIT says much of the knowledge acquired is dependent on individual trainees' area of interests.
Our counsel to them is that they should observe the ethics of the healing practice. Number one, they should know their limit. They can't know everything. When it is time to reach out to the practitioner of orthodox medicine, they shouldn't hesitate to direct their patient there.
There was medication before the conventional means of medication. Islamic therapy for the Muslims is something that is very unique. And today, taking it to this level is something that actually can do a lot of good.
Some of them have shown that present issue of pandemic can be addressed through prophetic medicine.
Experts say in the last 4 years, over 600 practitioners has emerged from productive research with effective healing for both psychological and spiritual ailments bedeviling mankind. Ilyasu Noto Yakubu, NTA News.
The Federal Executive Council has approved contract for the reconstruction of 3 stations for enhanced power supply in Kano and Benue states. Also approved is the extension of power transmission lines to some communities in Abia and Imo states. The Minister of Power, Saleh Maman, announced this while briefing journalists after the meeting of the council presided over by President Muhammadu Buhari. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports a memo on the strategic implementation work plan for the Niger Delta region is also scaled through.
The meeting 8 for the year 2021 and 37th to be held virtually in compliance with the COVID-19 Safety Advisory considered and approved 6 memoranda aimed at enhancing the nation's power and education sectors as well as the development of the Niger Delta region. For the power sector, the council approved $27.7 million and 5.48 billion naira for the construction of 3 substations at Bichi and Kanya in Kano State, as well as Zakibiam in Benue State. $506,000 as well as 34 million naira will also be utilized in the extension of transmission lines in Abia and Imo states.
Just to expand the national grid in order to have sustainable supply of electricity and also improve capacity.
Before now, there's been complaint that more power is being produced than is being wheeled out. So all these contracts is about improving the capacity of the TCN so that when this electricity is produced, it will get to our homes.
And in continuation of government efforts at revitalizing and rejuvenating the education sector, over 190 million naira has been approved by the council for the University of Ibadan towards acquiring a new state-of-the-art microscope for enhanced cutting-edge research in the Department of Anatomy.
The first of such equipment was given to us in 1967 by the Japanese government, but has become obsolete. The federal government, in its holistic attempt to address both its economic and social values, as well as upgrade our educational targets, then approved this so that we can stop spending the kind of money we spend sending PhD and further research students abroad on the basis of the lack of this particular equipment. And if University of Ibadan is empowered, it will become the fulcrum for many other research faculties around the country, including from neighboring West African countries.
For the Ministry of Niger Delta Affairs, its memo on the strategic implementation work plan for the Niger Delta region has been approved. It is an e-portal where all projects aimed at adding value to the Niger Delta region will be keyed into for effective monitoring, guidance, and planning purposes.
We believe strongly that that will help in coordination. It will also help in stopping duplication of projects. It will also help in stopping false accusations. For instance, the federal government is doing so much through the Ministry of Niger Delta, but most of those projects are being owned by either the local government or state governments without the knowledge of the people. We have about 50 projects completed and ready for commissioning, bed for COVID-19, done by the ministry, not the NDDC. And so those projects will be in that portal so that you can sit down in the comfort of your bedroom and look at what the Ministry of Niger Delta has done for your state, has done for your community. You can also look at it, what has Total that is operating within your area done, what has Shell done, what has Chevron done, what has ExxonMobil been able to do in the last 2 or 3 years for you. Those things will all be there.
Still for the Niger Delta region, a variation of contract has been approved for the 18-kilometer Baraguru-Oviagbene Road in Bomadi local government area of Delta State. The project, initially awarded at 8.5 billion naira, is now to be completed at 9 billion naira. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
After 20 years, the National Information Technology and Development Agency, NIDA, now has employee-centric condition and scheme of service expected to re-engineer the operations structure and enhance the agency's functionality. ICT correspondent Joseph Johnson reports.
After almost 5 years of work and review, there is now a documented conditions of work and scheme of service for staff of the digital economic sector after presidential approval. Minister of Communications and Digital Economy Issa Ali Pantami attributed the achievement to the improvement in the gross rate performance of the ICT sector.
And at the ministry, we are developing a